Rank makers, what is happening? What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Hope you are crushing it. And hope you're participating in the Weekend Warrior contest, even if you just put up a 1. Boy, would that be awesome. So, man, if we can just get everyone in here to just do 1, that would be fantastic. So, very, very excited. So, a couple things. Number 1, go Colts. Sorry, Steeler Nation. Go Colts. And number 2, I realize I've left my my little thing on. This is not like a gun holster, and it's not a backpack. This is actually a thing that I'm totally addicted to, and it's for your posture. You know, I always am like, before this actually, I was always like slouching and having back problems and stuff. So this pulls your shoulders back just a tiny bit, and it's just awesome. So if you have posture issues or something, I can share this with you. Whatever. All right. So, interesting title, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know if everyone, if anybody. I mean, I assume some people know where it's from, but it's from Star Wars, and we're going to talk a little bit about uplines, and I'll share with you my experience. I'll share with you some tips to help you out. So, Shauna, you know what? I'll post in the group a link because there's a bunch of these. This is the one that I found that works really, really well. So I'll do that. So let's see. Okay, Weekend Warriors. For those that maybe didn't see yesterday or any of these, we are in the Weekend Warrior contest. This is how many eyeballs can you get verified to watch your company presentation through prospecting before 11:59 p.m. Eastern tonight. Go and update rayhigdon.com/weekend warrior and fill out your numbers, and top 5 will get a little prize. Number 1 will get interviewed by us, and so hopefully you're playing. You know, whether you think you can win or not, don't think why bother. Think, you know what, let me at least get a number on the board. And so hopefully you're playing for that. That would be super awesome. So there's a line in Star Wars said by what's her name? Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. It's unfortunate. But she plays Princess Leia. And she says to, yeah, I'm a nerd, I know. But she says to Tarkin, she says, the more you tighten your grip, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. And so this is a line that I feel really applies to uplines. Really applies. And so, yesterday I was with our good friend Rena, a fellow rank maker, and she invested. Hey, what's up, Rena? There she is. Rena invested in a VIP day with us, and so had a grand old time with her. I think she's still here in Florida, and I said to her, she had some experience just like I had, where she had a little bit of a controlling, or maybe a lot of a controlling upline that didn't like her learning from outside trainers, didn't like her learning from anything other than the people in the company, right? And I had a similar experience, a little bit different, and I'll share my experience. And so, she left. She went to a different company, and I can tell you, I have hundreds and hundreds of those stories. Now, not one time have I gone to someone and say, hey, you have a controlling upline, you should totally leave that company. I don't say that, but they get sick and tired of trying to do better in a company and getting beaten up for it because they're trying to learn different ways, because they're being taught spammy, stupid ways. And so they try to go, find other things or find other ways, and then they get smacked with a hammer because of their pursuit of growing that company. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's egotistical. It's diminishing, etc., and so forth. So I'm going to share with you some stories that I think will help you out. And by the way, the action step is get some eyeballs on your presentation so you can update the Weekend Warrior. Even if it's just 1, even if it's just 2, let's all have a number in there. I highly suggest that. And so I'll tell you a quick story. So my first network marketing company, I joined in February of 2006, and I thought, man, this is so cool. And it's like, man, we can, go and rock it out and make it happen. And so I was excited. And in my first quarter, because some of you may have heard that I failed in, a bunch of different companies, and I use that word failure. It was all lessons. Like, I'm very grateful for it. In that first company, I actually had some level of success. It just didn't last. And so I don't consider that a success. I do consider it lessons. But in my first quarter in that network marketing company, my first company I was ever in, I was the number 2, what they call star maker out of 600,000 people. And a star maker is someone who I had the second most. Some guy in New Zealand beat me, but I had the second most out of 600,000 reps in that company. I had the second most number of people that I had personally recruited and helped get their first 2. Okay, so I personally recruited, helped get their first 2, and so not bad, right? Now, there were a lot of things I didn't know about network marketing leadership back then, culture, a lot of things I didn't know. I was teaching mainly as a salesperson, not thinking like a network marketer of building a community. And so a lot of mistakes I made. Totally admit that. However, I did things a little non-traditionally, but I was getting some results. I was producing. Now, I wasn't doing anything unethical, nothing immoral, nothing, lying, stealing, hyping, anything like that. But I wasn't exactly following what the upline wanted everyone to follow as a system. Okay, and so I would go to these meetings. And by the way, I was placed at the very bottom of a binary tree with no spillover. I'm lost in the wilderness, and I'm just going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And I would go to meetings, and I would have all kinds of people that were like, "Oh my God, you're Ray Higdon. Oh, thank you, man," because I was apparently placed in a spot that really benefited a lot of people. All right, so whatever, totally cool. Everyone would thank me except the big upline. And the big upline would be like, you're doing some things that we suggest against, and it wasn't a mentoring or a coaching. It was more of a wagging of the finger, and it was more of a, you're doing things wrong. And so I constantly felt like I was getting, and by the way, binary is just a type of compensation plan. If you don't know about it, don't worry about it. You do not need to know all compensation plans, so erase that from your mind. And so, it would go on and on and on. And constantly, I'm having people tell me that she's talking bad about me behind my back, that she's, when I see her, it's always awkward and just kind of rude. And I just didn't feel good. And I decided, I got a couple decisions here. I can either, leave, right? Which I didn't want to do. Or I could kind of do my own thing and just not participate in her meetings, not show up. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to be so good they can't ignore me, and I'm going to go do my own thing. And so we start rocking and rolling and doing my own meetings, and we're having some success. Now, I built both legs. The one leg took off. It just what happened, right? And in that kind of compensation plan, you kind of have to catch up, right? And so, I'm working fervently on my right leg, trying to get it going, and it's starting to clip away. It's starting to turn. It's starting to make some progress. And I get a call, and this was probably maybe 2008. And so 2008, get a call, and it's her, right? And she says, hey, and by the way, there was a time, I don't know exactly when, but there was a time where I would recruit someone. She would see that someone was recruited by me. She would call them and bash me. So imagine you're in a company, you recruit somebody, and then the next day they call you and say, hey, I got a weird call. I'm like, let me guess. From this person? They're like, yeah, man, they really don't like you. So imagine you're like recruiting, and the upline, big dog diamond is bashing you to the people you recruit. It's kind of not that great, right? And so, but anyway, I was focused. I'm going to make it happen. My goal was to pass her, right? I wanted to pass her, and then, hey, whatever. Now I don't have to worry about it. So I wasn't close to passing her at all. But that was one of my goals, pass her up. And so anyway, so this had gone on, and these little petty, passive-aggressive and aggressive little tactics were being done to me. And so, because I was doing YouTube videos, I was doing different things, and I wasn't breaking any compliance things, but I just wasn't doing it exactly the way that they wanted it done. and I wasn't getting mentoring or coaching or anything that was constructive, if someone's just like nasty and mean, that's not a coachable situation for me. I'm not going to listen to someone who's being rude, nasty to me. So it's very strange, right? So it's not a mentor. It's more of a, I don't know, I don't know. It's just weird. And so anyway, so a while goes by. So I'm doing this for maybe 6-8 months, something like that. Things are starting to turn. Things are starting to rock and roll. And I get a call from her. And she says, it's obvious that you're working, and it's obvious that, you're making it happen. And, I think we should start working together. So, if you'd like, I'm game to do a meeting for you guys. And I had a crew in Naples, Florida that was really rocking. I had recruited my buddy Patrick, who is just a beast connector, networker. At the time, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's still doing really, really well. I saw him a couple weeks ago. But at the time, he's moving probably $10 million of real estate a year as a realtor. Very savvy, super professional. He's like the guy that you like dream of recruiting into your team. And we're doing meetings every single week, a couple times a week. He's having me meet with big connectors. We're starting to rock and roll, man. We're starting to really make it happen. We actually went over to San Diego and met a bunch of his friends, recruited all of them. So things are like popping, man. It's really good. And so get this call. She says, hey, I see that you and Patrick are rocking. If you want me to do a meeting for you, fine. And so my initial gut was like, danger. I'm like, I probably shouldn't. I really, we got things going well. But then the other part of me, I believe sometimes to my detriment, I believe in the intentions of others, right? So she was offering an olive branch, and I'm like, you know what? All right, fine. I'm like, okay, I appreciate it. I know we've had our differences, but I would love to, work with you. Fine, let's do a meeting, next week. And so that week there was an open meeting, and that I don't normally go to, but because she offered the olive branch, I go to Patrick. I said, hey man, we should probably go to this meeting because it's in Naples, and there'll be people there that we might be able to get, to our, might be, other teammates that we can get to bring people to your meeting and rock it out. And I think, hey, she reached out to us. Let's be good and go and do it. And so we go to this meeting. There's about 140 people in the room, and she gets up there and she goes, some of you have asked for my help, but the problem is you're not following the system. And so, I've really felt within my heart, and I've really dug deep, and I've just decided that it just doesn't make sense for me to help people that aren't following the system. And so, Patrick and Ray, I'm sorry, but I can't do your meeting next week. Right? So Patrick, by the way, very influential, super connected. I mean, very, like, he is the dream dude. Like, holy cow, I just got Ultimate Warrior inside my team. Beast. People sign up because of just who he is. Patrick stands up and goes, F it. He didn't say F it, he said the full word. He said, F it, I don't need this, S. Walked out, quit that day. And so I kind of stood up, I just shook my head. Keep in mind, 140 people in the room, right? Prospects, teammates, leaders, a lot of my leaders. So I stood up, I just kind of shook my head, and I walked out of the room, never to do that company ever again. And so, let me say it again. The more you tighten your grip, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. So by using that tight grip, by saying, this is how you gotta do it, people don't like that pressure. People don't like being treated like they're being ruled with an iron thumb. They don't like being treated. Even employees. I'm not our employee, right? But even employees, we don't treat our employees like that. And we pay them, right? Even employees don't like being ruled with an iron fist. And so let me give you a couple other scenarios here. So I had a guy, and you know what? I think he's cool with me saying it. So I had a guy in my team named David Wood. And David is, he's an interesting cat, but he's a freak marketer. He does stuff that I really didn't even understand, right? He's mega smart. I know that he's currently going through some, some different issues and things like that, but we send him much love. And the first day in my team, he recruited 52 people at $500 a pop. And the way that he was positioned in the compensation plan, I had a check match. So he made 5,200, I made 5,200 his first day. So, by the way, results may vary, right? Results not typical. And he is just a beast of a network marketer. He is a genius. And, he went on to start a company that I think at the height got to $60 million a year. And, I believe they, closed the doors recently. But so, he's one of those mega talented guys. And that's, just how he is. Not traditional by any stretch of the imagination. So like there's if traditional is a kitten, right? If traditional is a kitten, he's wildebeest, right? If traditional is a pickup truck, he is a spaceship, right? Like it's just like if traditional is an orange, he's a fruit on a different planet, right? He's just not traditional in any way, shape, or form. And so I am super grateful for that terrible upline mentorship in my first company because it taught me so many lessons. I'm so grateful that I had that terrible experience because it taught me how not to be with a volunteer army. Okay, your people in your team are a volunteer army. And so it taught me so many things. It is so powerful, so grateful. And so if we had our system here, David, looks like we got a guest. Yeah. Okay. We're going to hopefully mommy come in here. All right, say hello.
Hello.
Say, can I have some hearts? What's that? What is that? What is that? And yes, she's eating a lemon. I know. What are those? What's that? She's licking a lemon right now. Isn't this funny? Oh, there's Mama Bear.
I'm making eggs, so I have to take her.
Ooh, all right. Here we go. Okay, say bye. Say bye.
I know, thank you.
All right, okay. There we go. So sad. But anyway, she'll be okay, I promise. We'll play with her afterwards. So, David, just spaceship, everyone else, cars and pickups, right? And so, but I never ruled him with an iron fist. I never tried to say, David, you should be doing it this way, right? And what's interesting is he actually got on at a company meeting. I see my bud Jake just joined. He knows what I'm talking about. But but David Wood did things so differently, but was a freak at recruiting and just a master of marketing, and would bring people in just by the droves, right? And so I never tried to rule him with an iron fist. I never said, this is the way you're supposed to lead your team, right? And so he would get on stage at company events and say, hey, this company's awesome. I recruit lots of people and Ray supports them. It's totally cool. Now, some people have way too much of an ego to say that sort of thing. He didn't care. And I didn't care. He's producing. We're getting a check match. I'll work with his people. No problem, right? However, and then he also later said, now he had been in a bunch of different companies, he later said, Ray, you were the best upline I ever had. And I think it's because I let him do him, right? I let him be who he is, right? I never tried to rule him with an iron fist. I have probably 10 different examples of super producers that were in my team that did not follow exactly the way we wish they would. And that was okay. Now, I encourage them to snap people into the events. I encourage people to snap people into, the team Facebook group. But I never demanded it. I never tried to go around them. I never tried to demean them or talk behind their back or whatever through some kind of egotistical way. Okay? And so I'm telling you what's happening, and it's happening more and more and more. Now, I've seen it for years, and I've kind of been quiet about it, but I hear every week, a star system slips through the fingers of an over-controlling upline. Every week, someone is in a team, in a company, and they're trying to learn different strategies because the upline is not teaching the stuff we teach at Rankmakers. So they're trying to learn different things, maybe from me, maybe from 50 other trainers, right? And so they're trying. They want to build that team, but the upline hits them with a hammer and says, "Don't you dare be a learner. Don't you be learning," right? And they say, "Don't you dare do something that isn't in the team." I'm telling you, you are losing now I'm not saying you, right? Uplines that are too controlling and too egotistical are losing would-be six-figure earners on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis, I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, there is nothing more satisfying, nothing in the world more satisfying than if you were overly ruled, if you were ruled with that iron fist. Nothing is more satisfying than going to and than producing. Okay? So I'm telling you, if you are too controlling, they will slip through your fingers, and then they're out to prove you wrong. They're out to go produce in some other team, in some other company, and prove you wrong. And so my big suggestion to you, okay, when someone isn't following exactly what you wish they were, love them, encourage them, be there for them. Don't take them off your newsletter. Don't bash them publicly. Don't passive-aggressively get on your company stage and say, "Hey, some of you aren't following the system," but don't do it. They're there helping you build your empire. Love them. Squeeze them, hug them. Say, "Hey, I know you do things a little differently. I'm here if you need me. Reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you. I know you're learning from somebody else, and that's totally cool," right? I'm telling you, every week, a would-be star is leaving a team because the upline is too controlling, too egotistical. And it's part of the fun that we have with Rankmakers, because if you imagine, I know that there are already uplines challenged by what we're teaching in here, and we're producing results, right? It's crazy. I'll tell you one thing I told my first upline. I said, "If you leave me alone, I will make you money. Just leave me alone. I don't need you to be I don't need you to cheerlead me. I don't need you to promote me. I don't need you to show up at my meetings. Leave me alone. I'll make you money." I told her this. She would still call my recruits and bash me. Okay? I mean, I'm kind of proud of myself because I lasted there a lot longer than I probably should have, because it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, I mean, just think about that. You're bringing people into the team underneath her, and you're being bashed every time you do it. It makes no sense. And so be willing, okay? Be willing to have people in your team that are producing that aren't exactly the way you wish they were, okay? And so you want to be, but not require. Now, there's a fine line. There's a fine line. And maybe it's not so fine. Maybe it's a little thicker. Maybe it's a thick line, right? There's a difference between someone that doesn't follow the system, or is learning from other people, or is teaching alternative methods, to someone who is causing drama, that is going into the team and trying to sell other things, or trying to cause just mess things up. That's different. I'm not saying, "Hey, no matter what they do, just love them." I'm saying, if they're producing, not causing drama, not exactly following the system, love them. Totally okay. But what I hear every week is I hear a star telling me, hey, you know what, Ray, I came to your event. My upline gave me crap for it. I don't understand it. What am I supposed to do? And my answer is never, oh, just leave. I never tell people that. I say, well, why don't you go produce without them? And why don't you go hit a major rank? And then maybe they'll change their mind. And we actually have clients. I don't want to mention any names because now I don't know who's in rank makers, right? But we have clients that when we first started working with them, they did get bashed. Some of them got left off of newsletters. Some of them all of a sudden weren't publicly recognized. But they kept showing up and kept producing. And a lot of those uplines were smart, and they have them now teaching their teams. They have them now where they're actually hired them as coaches. So we have scenarios where, just to fully paint the picture out, so we had scenarios where there's big upline and someone down here, and this is our client. And so client starts doing maybe non-traditional things, stops talking about their company on their social media so they get more curiosity. And upline says, I don't like that, right? How dare you? You learner, right? And so they learners, right? So they get mad, and so they used to publish a newsletter, and they're like, no, you bad girl, right? And so they get mad, but then this person starts ranking up. This person starts ranking up. This person ranks up. This person ranks up, right? Check, doubles, triples, quadruples, and this person says, maybe there's something to it. Smart ones. Now, dumb ones will continue to stay mad. Dumb ones will continue to stay mad, rule with that iron fist, and the star system, just like Princess Leia warned us, thank you, Princess Leia, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher, but the star system will say, you know what? This couple over here, they seem to be accepting. They seem to be cool with social media strategies that actually work. They seem to be kind of neat. You know what? I think I'm going to go in their yard and play. I'm going to take my toys. I'm going to take all my toys, and I'm going to go over here and play. And then this person, not realizing they caused the problem, they're like, see, I told you they'd leave. Told you we'd get them out of here. And then their check goes down. And their check goes down. And then other people over here are like, wait a minute. They're killing it over here and they're accepted and no one's mad at them? They don't get hit with a hammer every time they market on social media without using the company name? Huh? Wow. Well, maybe I'll take my toys over here and leave too. Now, this is not a, hey gang, here's what to do if your upline isn't intelligent enough to support producers. That's not what I'm saying. It's a warning. It's a warning that if you have people producing in your team that isn't exactly following the way you wish they were, right? If you have people, just to be very clear, if you have people that are recruiting, right? They're recruiting up a storm. They don't support anybody. They don't pick up the phone. They don't have a Facebook group. They don't add people into anything. That's okay. You step it up. You should anyway. You should have a culture that is warm and inviting, like a comfy blanket, right? And you just wrap that little blanket. Oh, I love you. I know that your parents are somewhere else, but I'm going to take good care of you, right? Have a culture that is inviting and warm and awesome. And I never went to one of my leaders and said, hey, you really should snap people into my Facebook group. I know you got your own, right? I never told them, don't have your own Facebook group, my Facebook group. Never did it. And I also never went to them and said, hey, you really should be putting your people in my Facebook group. Never did it. But what I did was I made the Facebook group so damn valuable that you would need a head check. You would need a CAT scan if you didn't add people to it. Value. Add massive value so that people that are doing things weird or doing things differently are just like David. And he says, you know what? I recruit him. Ray supports him. It's totally cool. Is there something wrong with that? I mean, my boy Dave, and I know he's going through some issues right now, but my boy Dave, probably made me hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But if I would have been this iron fist controlling upline, how long would he have lasted? And oh, by the way, how many people would he have recruited away from my team? Okay? I'm telling you, be very careful on how you rule your team with an iron fist. Highly suggest against it. Okay? Highly suggest. If a leader had a huge team and didn't want to add them into my group, okay, no problem. I'm here if you need me. If you give me, reach out to me. I got your back. Love you. Appreciate you. If there's anything I can do, you want me to do a team call and not mention my group? Totally cool. You want me to show up at a meeting? Totally cool. You want me to do something? I'm here. I didn't rule with iron fist, and I highly suggest you don't either. Now, here's something I said to Rena, and this was a realization for me. There's a realization for me. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, and then we'll finish this up so you can get back to your Sunday. By the way, wait till you see what I ordered. It'll be here in a few weeks, but it's going to be cool. It'll be fun. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to focus on two. So I see that there's two types. Obviously, there's a bunch of types. All right, but two main types of uplines I want to talk about. All right. One is kind. One is kind and is loving and is accepting and is the type of person that is just like, oh man, I'm so glad you're in network marketing. You could go create success anywhere you want, but boy, am I glad and grateful that you're in network marketing because you're such a great ambassador. Thank you so much, right? It's super cool, right? So they're nice, they're kind, they're accepting, they're loving. They're if someone meets them, they think, wow, what a cool person, man. What a good positive energy. And then there's the other kind, okay? And I'll share with you something that I really haven't talked about publicly much at all. So early last year, my wife and I, got attacked by a big leader. And their accusations was that we were selling courses and then taking the people that bought courses and giving them over to our network marketing leaders to recruit them, right? Like that was the accusation. And apparently they had one person who had bought a course and ended up joining someone in our team. We certainly weren't aware, and we didn't have some kind of secret funnel to do that kind of thing. However, it was interesting, and it did affect. Now, we had already looked at how much time we had to invest in our coaching and training versus how much time we were spending with our team. And we had already considered, maybe it would be better for us to make a larger impact to sell our position, to get out of actively building a network marketing business because some leaders just won't support you, right? If they know you're active in a team and you're wanting to be a speaker for their company or you're wanting to be a trainer for their team or whatever, they're just like, nope, you're active in a team, right? I understand it to a degree. And so that attack, which she called, this person called a bunch of other leaders. So I'm getting calls from Todd Falcone, from Eric Worre, from Susan Sly, from fill in the blank. A whole bunch of leaders got called on this and trying to basically, it was let's get these guys out of here, right? And so it really made me reflect on the profession as a whole. And there's two types. There's the person, happy, kind, accepting, loving, great ambassador. Then there's this kind, and it's ego, controlling. They probably introduce themselves by their rank, right? So, hello, I'm an executive national marketing director. What level are you? And if you're not at a certain level, they may not talk to you. They're probably behind velvet ropes, right? I can't draw velvet ropes. What am I even thinking? I tried. By the way, clearly not my handwriting. I outsourced to my wife on this one. But they're controlling. They're behind the velvet ropes. They're quick to publicly criticize, like my first upline, right? They're quick to put you in place, okay? And so this is not good for the profession. Now, by the way, can you make a lot of money being egotistical, controlling, downright nasty, mean? You can, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't the case, right? I really do. You can. This is who we want to get to the top leadership in network marketing. This, okay? So my teaching will turn these people off. I'm not going to ever teach you to scream at your downline, to scream at your team, to call them names and demean them, to tell them you can't be learning from other people. Don't you dare be a rank maker. This group, I'm very serious about this, is going to replace these people. It is time for this to be replaced. I don't want this in my profession. I want this. I want kind, loving, accepting, awesome people that are great ambassadors for the profession. I don't want this. So I'm on a little bit of a mission to raise these people up. People, and I said this to Rena yesterday, I said the profession needs you at a top level. It needs you at a top level. There are companies where the entire infrastructure is controlled by mean people, and I don't like it. These people need to be elevated, and that's what Rank Makers is about. We are going to elevate these people. Kind, nice, and by the way, I don't have to talk about this every day because these people will be bashing Rank Makers. They won't stay in here. They will leave, and they'll bash, okay? We need more kindness, more loving, more accepting, more great ambassadors, the people that will hang out with you if you're not a 10-star. I never had my team where I was like, oh, what rank are you? Oh, well, I'm going over here to talk to my 10 stars, little one. I've heard, how many stories I've heard like that? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so accepting, approving, loving, kindness, this is who we will get to the top positions inside of network marketing, even if the dinosaurs that are mean and nasty and meat eaters, even if they've been there for 20 years, I want to replace them. I want to eradicate the meanness and nastiness and the drama and it's disgusting. And so that's how we're playing. So there you go. Just remember, I'm going to say it one more time. How did Princess Leia warn us? She said, Tarkin, the more you tighten your grip, the more star systems slip through your fingers, right? So don't tighten your grip when it comes to your team. Be loving, be accepting of them, help them out. Help them out, okay? If they don't do things the exact way of the system, ask them if they're coachable if you'd like, and say, hey, are you coachable? You might get, I might suggest this, it might help you out a little bit, but if you don't want to do it that way, that's totally cool, all right? And as long as they're not causing drama and being nasty and doing conniving, just underhanded things, then rock and roll. But you don't have to be this to be a big producer. Believe me, you don't have to be this. You don't have to be mean, condescending, nasty, controlling, egotistical. You don't have to be this, okay? So there you go, my friends. Happy Sunday. Good luck to you, Weekend Warriors. I hope you get a number on that board. Even if it's just one, get one person at least to watch your company presentation. Let's make it happen. Let's rock and roll. And I really appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you so much.